Hi, you know what they say, if it works, it ain't stupid. I recently broke my phone and unfortunately it's permanently damaged, but I have some tools and skills to modify it and use for robotics or filmmaking, or maybe both, or maybe NASA will borrow it for their next space program. I don't know. Stay tuned to see more. Here's what happened. I dropped my phone and the screen was completely destroyed. I went to a repair shop and they replaced the screen, but unfortunately it didn't make it complete. As soon as I started to use that, I realized that there is no wireless connectivity. Wi-Fi doesn't work, Bluetooth doesn't work, cellular doesn't work, and nothing helps. So I went to a repair shop once again and they tried to repair the motherboard of the phone and it didn't help. It just didn't work. So they offered me to replace the motherboard, but it is a 2-year-old phone and it makes no sense to replace it anymore. So I just went and bought a new phone, but I couldn't just go for trade-in with this one. It's damaged, trade-in price is very low, and I just decided to keep it to make some content for you. I have a really cheap USB-C dongle. It has USB-C for charging, USB-C for data, HDMI, 2 USB 3.0 ports, and SD card slots. And even an Ethernet port. I'm very curious to see if Ethernet works. Maybe we can try to return some connectivity to our iPhone. So we plug in our Ethernet cord, then we plug in our iPhone, go into Safari, and type google.com. Now let's see if it connects, and boom, we are back online. That's pretty good. That means I can get some functionality back. Now let's check the other ports. For this particular project, we are most interested in HDMI and USB. Let's connect our HDMI cable. Then we go horizontal, so it will be visible. And now, hopefully something appears on our screen. Boom, we are here. Now, what we can try to do to check if our USB port's actually working. We can connect our USB dongle. It's connected. Now we can take our keyboard, right? And when we type something on the keyboard, it actually goes on our iPhone. That means everything we need survived, and we can continue wrapping this thing up. The first thing I wanted to improve is the mounting situation. iPhones are basically shaped like a bar of soap, extremely annoying to mount anything to. I look online for MagSafe mounting options, but they are very limited and usually allow to attach only one device at a time. So I went for a cage. I found this one, a small rig iPhone 15 Pro Max case, or cage, I'm not sure about the proper name. So it was quite cheap too. I got it for less than 20 bucks, mostly because the iPhone 15 is already considered an old device. This thing is awesome. It has 1/4-inch mounting points on all 4 sides of the case, so basically you can attach something to every side of the phone. The next thing I needed to attach was the tripod mount plate. I bought this one. It's basically a screw and forget situation, and the best part is, it lets you switch between horizontal and vertical orientation in literally a second. Now that the setup is easy to hold and easy to mount, let's try to actually film something. Here we hit the first major issue with any modern phone, I believe. Filming high-resolution, high-frame-rate video, it just overheats in 10 to 15 minutes. Luckily, there are tools to fix this. There are coolers for mobile gamers that use Peltier elements, basically semiconductors that get cold on one side and hot on the other when you pass current through them. These coolers use MagSafe to attach to the back of the phone, super convenient. The only problem is that glass is a terrible heat conductor. There's a reason we use it for Windows. So let's test it. Maybe it works even through glass. And surprisingly, it does. With power applied, the iPhone now records much longer. 20 minutes, 30, even 40 minutes without shutting down. I like the improvement, but the RGB LEDs and cheap white plastic look awful on this build. So let me try to find something better. Here we go. This fits much better. Alright, with heat under control, we can finally start adding the fun stuff. And because this iPhone Pro has full 10 gigabit USB-C port, unlike its cheaper siblings, we can connect almost anything. So let me show you what I'm adding next. I found this USB-C dongle or hub, and It includes everything that Apple decided not to include in their $60 leather wallet. Check this out. So we have 4K 60, M.2 SSD slot, USB-C and A for accessories, and 100-watt power delivery pass-through. So storage, monitoring, connectivity, and all of it unlocked for a price of a lunch or something like that. And this gives me fast external storage for long filming sessions, especially when recording 10-bit Apple ProRes. Now, here's the catch. MagSafe is already taken by the cooling solution. And this hub doesn't have any other mounting options. So I decided to give this unholy abomination one more MagSafe attachment point, so I can actually mount this thing and this thing at the same time. Watch this. On the right side of the cage we have 2 1/4-inch mounting holes. So I printed a part here which fits them. Now on this side we have a new plate where we can mount things. And the cool thing is that I was able to embed magnets that are usually used for iPhone repairs inside this part. As you can see, this part has no glue or screws or anything to disassemble it. However, it allows to attach MagSafe devices. How did I do that? Well, Bamboo Studio has a feature where you can stop mid-print at a certain layer. So I did that. I stopped mid-print, inserted magnets, and resumed the print. At this point, the printer just embedded everything, covered magnets with a layer of plastic, and we got them inside. So we can attach MagSafe devices to a piece of plastic. Now with this mount installed, we can finally attach both of our MagSafe devices at the same time. Alright, next up is cable Tetris. I tested maybe 15 different cables, short ones, angled ones, extremely cursed ones, until I found a layout that didn't stab me in the hand when holding the rig. This part took way longer than I expected. At this point I needed to power everything up. So for this purpose I needed to use a power bank. And I needed to hold it somehow, so I printed this mount for it. It mounts on the opposite side, same 1/4-inch mounting points, and this power bank is quite cool. It has 2 outputs, so we can use USB Type A and USB Type C, and on top of that it has removable 21700 element inside. That means that you can change your battery on the go. So this logs in, this goes in, and this attaches to the frame itself. Both printed parts are made from ABS glass fiber, so they are tough enough to work as dual handles. You probably already noticed the last accessory we got here. It is our screen. I purchased a relatively cheap screen for approximately $90. It is IPS 1080p. It's not as good as some filmmaking screens, but it is cheap and good enough to see yourself filming on the main camera. On top of that, it has touchscreen capability, which will be very useful when I decide to connect it to a Raspberry Pi. Now with structure, power, audio, storage, cooling, and screen all in one place, the rig is finally complete. Let me share the budget so far. So we spent $20 on the cage itself, $10 on Hagibis cooler, $15 on USB-C hub, $60 on 1TB NVMe storage, magnets and screws consumed like $10, quick switch tripod mount was $10, power bank was $15, and screen was $90. So the entire transformation cost about $230, assuming you already own the phone and microphones, of course. I'm not sure how useful it is for a broad audience, but at least it's cool, right? I mean, it's cool. It's gorgeous. I was mostly talking about filmmaking and videography in this video, but it is not the only purpose of this rig. It has an HDMI output. That means nothing prevents me from connecting it to a capture card. Then I can connect a capture card to a desktop with Linux or Windows or a different distribution. And there I can process it using Python and computer vision. Then I can track objects and faces and bodies and humans and animals and hands and gestures. Doing so, we get quite exciting opportunities. For example, if we install the camera on a different rig or a gimbal or some rotating or tilting platform, and put it in a room with a person, we can track the face and always keep it in the center of the frame, which is pretty cool for videography. Then, if we install such a platform on a rover or a car or a drone, we can get some pretty interesting things. For example, we can have your personal robot following you and filming, keeping you in the center of the frame. It can do some autonomous routes. It can do some security and surveillance. Then we have drones. They can track cars, they can track animals and humans, they can do 3D mapping, they can fly around buildings autonomously and filming them. Opportunities with this unholy abomination and different things that I'm going to use in the future are quite exciting, but I need a little bit of help with them. The thing is that I invest time and money in these things because I get motivated by views, by subscribers, by you guys commenting and watching my videos. So if you spend some time hitting those like and subscribe buttons, that really helps me, that really helps the channel, and that helps me to provide you more videos. And that will help me to get those things done, those robotics pieces, those interesting parts with computer vision and object tracking. So thanks for watching. Now we are going to return to our Python part. I'm going to connect this thing to a computer and try to track something. Let's see how it goes. I prepared a code, 150 lines of it to be exact, and we can try to run it actually. So we type in Python, then we have the file name and we just run it. It asks us to select the device, we select 0, and it opens up our stream. And the cool part is I already made the face recognition, as you can see. It's not perfect, like it didn't see me from the side, but it does see it. And we also have a FPS counter somewhere there. Now, as you can see on the face, we have coordinates here. These are coordinates of the center of the rectangle, so we can adjust our devices accordingly to center the frame in the center of the image, in the center of the video, if it is a gimbal or some rotating platform. Then we can try to reduce the noise. As you can see, we have rectangles popping here and there. We can also fix that with different model or more code. And we also have 100%. This is basically how certain our CV that it is a human face, which is pretty cool, I think, for an iPhone, right? And also what is good about it is that iPhone has 3 cameras, so we can switch between them on the go. It's a bit tricky because like it's an iPhone, it's hard to control completely. But we can do that. Also, it has a LiDAR, so it can measure the distance between the camera and the object, which is great. Maybe we'll be able to do better focus with it. And also it has pretty good auto modes like auto shutter, auto ISO, auto white balance. So even if it is challenging light conditions, so for example, if this camera now goes there, where it is sunlight, it will adjust accordingly. Now, let's try something else. Now we increase the code size to 215 lines and we can try it again. Let's see how it goes. So I tried to improve face detection. Now, as you can see, we have less false detections all around, but it also reduced the precision of the face detection as well. As you can see, when I turn sideways, it immediately stops tracking it, which is not great, but I think it can be improved. I just need to work on it a bit more. Now I also added hand tracking. Will it see them? I don't think so. Let's try to debug. Let's select our device. Boom. Here we go. And hopefully, yes. As you can see, we have hands now. And it tracks them pretty good, actually. Can we do this, that? This is great. So, yeah, let's try something else. And probably the last one for today. Let's try to launch it. Hopefully it works. Select the device. It launches. We have hand track. And... oh no, it doesn't work. Okay, let's try it again. So this code should be working now. and it's quite cool. It can track hands, and also it can do this. Yeah. I think that's a good enough demo for the introduction video, as you can see. And let's move to the conclusion. This thing was crazy fun to work on, and I am very thankful for the opportunity to work on such things. And I'm also very thankful for you watching all the way to the end. Now let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this? Is it cool, stupid, useless, or fun? What would you do with your broken phone?